Take two. This is Stephen, the Disney Drago Robinson. You're watching the one and only Sport Icon. Bow bow!
Okay, so Simon Jordan has claimed that he's heard a rumour that Saudi Arabia could be hosting a mini tournament toward the end of the year. We'll talk about that in a second. Now, firstly, for Simon Jordan to say he's heard a rumour, is that sort of something that's popped into his head and come out of it? Because again, the heavyweight division, the landscape of it isn't too difficult to predict. For example, yesterday I did a video on the WBC potentially ordering Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder for the WBC mandatory position, based on the rumour that Tyson Fury could be fighting Andy Ruiz Jr. So again, you can come out with these predictions and you can put it down as a rumour, if you like. You can put it down as sources, but really the heavyweight division isn't too difficult to predict at that kind of end. Okay, now we can talk about this particular rumour that Simon Jordan's come out with as if it's going to be real, okay? As if it's literally going to happen, which it could do, because it's not too far-fetched. It really isn't. Now, what Simon Jordan's talking about here is Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, Oleksandr Usyk versus Tyson Fury, then the winners fight each other. Now, this will kick off in December. Of course, not at the same time, because that would be mad. You can't do it all on the same card or the same night. Hey, if anybody could afford to do it, it would be the Saudis, right? But I would imagine that they'll probably do one maybe beginning of December, and then one maybe towards the end of December, maybe early January. Then the winners fight each other in March or April, something like that, okay? Now, as far as the order of that particular situation, Usyk, Fury, Joshua, Wilder, okay, that's cool. If it's not for undisputed, as in the winner of the tournament won't walk out as undisputed, that's fine. But if the Saudis really want undisputed, then they're going to have a hell of a job getting that over the line. Reason being, Oleksandr Usyk, of course, he's going to fight Daniel Dubois in the next couple of months. So that would be the WBA mandatory sorted out if, of course, Oleksandr Usyk gets past Daniel Dubois. What if he don't? All right? But, okay, let's just say he does. Is he going to fit in Filip Hrgović and Joe Joyce before December as well? No, not unless he's some kind of superhero. And if he does, props, right? Massive props. But that's very unlikely. So that would tell me that he's going to get stripped of the IBF and the WBO. Now, you may say, but the IBF and the WBO, they will want to be part of like this little bit of a tournament. The Saudis will pay them a bit of money. They're going to want some money. That's fine. But they have to convince Filip Hrgović to step aside. They have to convince Joe Joyce to step aside. Of course, they're going to get their palms rubbed with some coin. Okay, but that doesn't mean they're going to do it. That doesn't mean that at all. Because ultimately, if Filip Hrgović and Joe Joyce say, no, I ain't stepping aside, what that's going to mean is that they will be automatically elevated to full world champions. So what do they want? Do they want a little bit of money and then wait and then fight for the championship? Or do you want to become world champion straight away? Reason being, they're interim champions, right? Anything happens with those belts, they get elevated straight away. What do you think Joe Joyce and Filip Hrgović are going to do? Of course, everything's got a price, but do you want to be world champion or do you want a bit of money in your pocket? They're probably going to take the world championship. Okay, so for me, it's unlikely it's going to be for undisputed. So in which case, I don't mind the order of those two particular fights in Saudi Arabia. If somehow they can convince Hrgović and Joyce to step aside and it is going to be for undisputed, then why have undisputed in the first fight? Why have Fury versus Usyk straight away? No point, is there? So for me, if you're going to have this tournament, have Usyk versus Wilder. Have Fury versus Joshua. As two world title fights, winners fight each other for undisputed. That would be the best way to cap off a tournament. Otherwise, you're going to have a champion versus a non-champion in the final. That's how it's going to be, isn't it? Doesn't quite have that same feeling. Now, ultimately, it's unlikely it's going to be for undisputed, so of course it's going to be pretty much bragging rights for boxing fans to go, yeah, they are the number one in the heavyweight division. But of course, if Joe Joyce is still kicking around and he hasn't lost to Zhang or whatever else, people go, what about Joe Joyce? You've got to go see Joe Joyce. Now, for me personally, I would prefer it if it was Joshua versus Joyce rather than Wilder. I don't know, there's nothing about Wilder that really excites me, but regardless, I mean, Joshua versus Wilder is a decent enough fight, I suppose. So why not? Why not? Obviously, the Saudis do have a lot of money that they can just bankroll this one. So one at the beginning of December, one toward the end of it. Hopefully not too close together because of Christmas and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a lot of money for some people. Of course it is. And then, of course, the final fight, if you like, happening in March kind of time. Now, if anybody thinks that they can do all this in one night like a prize fighter, I wouldn't have thought so. It'd be class if they did, right? But very, very unlikely. Anyway, that's my thoughts on this whole situation. You drop me yours, click thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.